Okay, question 4. Use the data in the table to draw a scatter plot. Draw a line of best fit on the scatter plot. Describe the correlation, if any, between hours spent studying and average score on the test. So, first thing we're going to do, home screen, new document, say no to drugs, and we need to input data. So to input data, we always go to a list in spreadsheet. So choice number 4. Now, in the list in spreadsheet, I'm going to name my columns first. So I have hours spent studying. I'm just going to use hours. And then press tab. In my other column, average score on the test. So I'm just going to call that score. So now we input our data. So our hours, we have 0.5. Make sure you have your decimal there. You have 1, 1.5, 2, and then 2.5. And like I always say, make sure that your data is correct. If you type something wrong, everything else you do from that point is wrong. So double check. 0.51, 1.52, 2.5. That data is right. Now I'm going to put in my y coordinates. So 58, 78, 80, 85, and 92. Now, the next thing that we always want to remember is anytime that we input data, always go to cell C1. You want to make that a habit from the very first time you ever use a list and spreadsheet, that when you're finished inputting data, the place you need to be is row C or column C, cell number 1. So always come here. Now we want to analyze this data. So we're going to add a new page. We press the red control key followed by the document key. And this time we've already got data. You can't open a data stats page and do anything with it until you have data in your calculator. So order of operations follows. Add list and spreadsheet first, input data, then add a data stats page to look at data. Okay, so here's our data stats page. Right now, this is just a scatter plot. In order to evaluate what's really going on, we have to add variables. So down here, this is my x-axis, and hours measures time. So I'm going to pick hours for my x-coordinate. Then I come over here to the y-axis, and if x was hours, y has to be score, and there's my data. And that's what I'm going to take a picture of. So go down to my snippet tool. And now just paste my data into my document. And that's how we use a list and spreadsheet to create a data stats page. And notice, I have my hours here, I have my score here, and I have all my data points here. And that's what we're doing to create a graph. Now, there's one other detail. They ask us to draw a line of best fit. So the idea, when I draw a line of best fit onto the scatter plot, I want to draw a line that's as close to as many points as possible. The problem is I can't play connect the dots. I can't draw a line from this point to this point, and then here, and then to here, and then to here. That's not a straight line. I get to draw one line that is as close to as many points as possible. So what I'm going to do is start down here and just kind of drag up. Now, if I went this way, I'm just close to that point, right? If I do this, I'm really close to this point. What I want to do is get as close to as many points as possible. So I'm going to do something a little bit more like that. Now remember, when you draw a line, you do want arrows at both ends of your line. So there is what I would consider drawing a line of best fit for this data set. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see my arrows. Noticeably, when we go to 4, you see how those arrows kind of stand out a little bit more. And that, so I'm not really close to this point, but I'm very close to these points, this one and this one. So that's how I get as close as I can to as many points as possible. And that's example of what we'd be doing to draw a line of best fit. Last detail for this question, it says, is there a correlation? And it does look like most of these points are close to the line. So as time spent studying increases, test scores, the scores on the test increase as well. So the first thing we always do is answer the question I ask. And it says, is there a correlation? And our answer is yes. So that was kind of an afterthought for me, that you always want to go back and say, yes, there is a correlation. So answer the question they ask and then explain what you mean. So, yes, as time spent studying increases, the scores on the test increase as well. And that's all you need for question number